Happy Wednesday! Welcome back to the Maker's Gonna Learn YouTube channel. How's everybody doing?
How are you doing?
How you doing? We've been outside, working outside.
Can I just say that I feel my seasonal depression has lifted.
The veil has been lifted.
It is starting to go away. It is starting to disperse. But then me and Alicia were laughing because there whoop.
Your volume.
There it is. Anyway.
Rookie mistake.
A rookie mistake. We were laughing because we have seen so many TikToks, like memes and everything. It's like, my seasonal depression is gone.
No.
But now my regular depression is still here.
I know some people can relate to that.
Yes.
But yes, it's gorgeous here in East Tennessee today, and we have just been soaking in all of the sun, and we've been crafting, and today we're going to be talking about wedding favors that you can make, but also that you can sell.
Yes.
And so these are items that if you go on Etsy and look up any of these items, you're going to see a really high profit margin. The breath mints, specifically, we're going to be doing some breath mints. When I found these, I was like, no way. But y'all know people will shovel out some cash for a wedding.
They really, really will. So these are kind of prepping those who may be here getting ready for a wedding coming up this summer. But really, we want to focus on our friends that are ready or are selling their crafts, because these are made for you to make a profit, y'all.
Yes.
These are highly, highly sellable crafts.
Yes, and it's things that you're going to purchase in bulk. Like, we're going to be doing koozies, we're doing little honey pots, which are adorable, and we're doing mints. And so it's things that you can buy in bulk and then customize with your Cricut fairly quickly, like more than one at a time. So it's not like you're making this huge wedding sign or you're making like an individualized piece. You're going to be making like 100, 150 of these at a time. I mean, they're wedding favors, so you're going to need a lot. So you're going to make a good little chunk of change. So I love wedding DIYs anyways. Like, if I had to pick a niche in crafting,
it would for sure be wedding DIYs.
There's so many things you can do, and there's themes and colors, and I just love it.
And so many different, like, I guess, creative things that you can come up with.
Yeah.
That relate.
It's like free reign out there.
I know.
You know? I love it. So, but another thing that we have been talking about in the month of April is Tanner's 5 Secrets webinar. So this webinar is basically teaching you all how to sell your crafts if you have never sold your crafts.
Yep.
So we wanted to bring you all some things you can actually sell. And then when you get into that webinar, you're already going to have that inspiration going. You're going to be like, I'm ready. Let's do it.
And this is a free webinar. Doesn't cost you all anything to attend. It is there's 4 different days. All 4 days are going to be the same. Now, they are going to be live. So if you can come to half of one and maybe half of another one, there may be some things that Tanner will go over that might be different. We're going to talk to people. So if you want to attend multiple days, you can. Like I said, they are going to be live. So the trainings are a smidgen different.
Yeah.
Just based on the audience that shows up that day.
Right.
But he is teaching the same thing, but it is April the 22nd and 23rd.
Girl, don't ask
Right?
me. I got to look. I got to refer back. If it's a number, it's like in one ear, out the other.
I'm getting the dates.
Lauren will know. She had them by heart.
Sorry.
The last live.
22nd, 23rd, and then the 26th and 27th.
Yes.
Those are the dates of the webinar. I know that Wednesday the 26th is going to be at 1:30. Sunday the 23rd is at 8 p.m. Saturday the 22nd is at 12 p.m. And I'm pretty sure Thursday the 27th is 10 a.m. all Eastern time.
Basically, there's no excuse for you not to be there because they're spread out all throughout the day. There's some at the nighttime, some in the morning. So you guys really are going to have an opportunity to make sure that you make it to this. So
yes,
pretty exciting.
So we do have someone ask, I have no clue how to even begin to sell. I'm a homebody. Terry, you don't have to interact with people face to face to sell anymore. You can do all of this from Etsy, all of this through your computer. You do not have to actually physically speak to someone face to face. You don't have to be a salesman.
Right.
Really, all you have to learn or know how to do is how to really learn if you're not comfortable, if you don't sell yet. You have to learn. You're going to learn how to set up an Etsy shop, learn how to take really good pictures, and learn how to write those descriptions in Etsy. And y'all, Etsy brings your customers to you.
Yes, and I think as long as you're willing to be committed and like willing to kind of persist through things and like keep showing up, and you'll see this trend a lot. Like we've been interviewing a lot of local crafters as well as crafters. We've just put out a podcast with Ashley Falco, and the biggest trend that I see is everybody is showing up. It doesn't, regardless of what you're making, whatever it is, if you're going to show up, your customers are going to be there for you and you're going to be successful. And I think that it's really important to be true to yourself and be like, okay, have I been showing up how I should? And I think just getting real and honest with yourself about, am I really showing up for my demographic and for my customers? And I see a lot of success with the people that do.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing it every day. They're setting time aside for posting on socials or sending out emails and things like that. And that's what this webinar is going to go into that a little bit more. Obviously, we have like our DMS course, which goes really deep into it. So it's just a good way. This is a good way for you to get your toes wet if you're like kind of on the fence about it, I think.
Yes.
So, but anyways, we should probably get started because we've got 3 crafts
We
today.
got 3 to get through today.
Yeah, so let's
go ahead and get started.
Let's do it. How's everybody doing? I feel like my clip's falling out. Okay, so look at all the things. So let me just hold everything. Let's go overhead. I'm going to show you guys everything that we're making today. So we've got, first, let's just show you individually. So this is our little koozie. This is just using white HTV. This is my mess up side. I tried to use brick. Don't use brick. We're just using standard white HTV for these. And we're going to be able to, I'm going to show you how you can just make bulk of these on 12 by 12 sheets. If you've got 12 by 24 inch vinyl, you could do that as well and make even more. I've got these adorable honey pots. This is like one of the cutest crafts I feel like I've ever made, and it's literally so easy because whenever you order through the Amazon link, I'll link the exact ones that I ordered here. It comes with like this little bee. He's so cute, and this little like honeycomb, or what are these called? There's a name for these. If you know it, leave a comment. But these like little honey pot dippers, and then I just put some honey in there. We're going to actually just be making the labels for these. So super cute. And then these are the ones that I was talking about that have such a high markup. I meant to actually write the prices down for these so you guys could see them, and maybe Lauren can like look on Etsy and tell me. Yeah. You like whenever you go into Etsy, people are ordering these in like amounts of like 200 plus. So they're going to order 200 mints for, I don't know, Lauren's going to tell us the price on these, but the markup is insane.
Give me 2
and they're
seconds.
so easy to make. These are going to be print and cut. Our honey labels, those are also going to be print and cut today. And then the Jarnigans is just going to be HTV. So the materials are not crazy to make these, which is why I really love them. So let's just kind of go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with our koozie, and then we'll just kind of work our way over. Does anybody have any questions yet? Anybody? Everybody's like, these are so cute.
This one, so how many do you think? Let's start, give me a quantity.
Let's do, like, I don't feel like you do less than 100 for mints, right? Like 100's like a standard wedding guest amount for like a regular, not huge wedding.
Okay, so they have, I've seen one has these listed with the craft paper that we are doing today, $54.
For 100? That's pretty good. I mean, that's pretty good. And you're making these all at once, and your Cricut's basically doing all of the work for you, so you can't beat it. So let's go ahead and hop into Design Space, and I'm going to show you all how I designed this cute little image for our koozie. So Yes. Can you all see can you all see Design Space on your screen right now? Let
I
me
doubt that she's on Design Space.
Yeah, I'm not on Design Space, but it's the app.
Oh no. Okay, we're gonna get the share screen working so you guys can see.
Okay.
Anyways, for the koozie, we're just gonna be using basic shapes and fonts. And the font I use for this one is Demonstrate. And so this is just like a scripty, really pretty font that I would see at a wedding. I love like a handwritten scripty font for weddings just because it looks romantic and it's very elegant. And so you want to consider things like that when you're making designs, especially for weddings, unless they have a very specific vibe, like if they have a Western vibe or something like that. You're not going to want to pick anything super gaudy or tacky or anything. And so that's all I went with this basic script font. That's very like whimsical and pretty. Can you guys see my screen yet? We're having technical difficulties. Lindsay says she loves the font. Okay, we're getting the share screen going here in just a second, y'all. Let's just kind of talk about the font choices and things like that while they're going over that, mainly because, oh, my screen went black. So I also want to say, if you decided to make all of these, like if you were like, I want to make a little bit of all of this for whatever wedding you're planning, make sure that you're coordinating your fonts. I feel like coordinating fonts and like for your wedding brand is very important. So like you don't want to use like 5 different fonts. If you're designing something for one wedding, you want to pick like 2. Like pick 2 and stick with those 2 and design everything using those fonts. I feel like that's pretty important whenever you're decorating or designing and things like that. So can we see the share screen now? We can see it, yay!
Trying to flash in and out, but we're good.
Okay, let's cross our fingers. I couldn't get it to turn on earlier. So what I did here is basically we're going to start out with a basic shape. So this arch shape is super trendy right now. This little, I mean, it's just an archway shape. We have this on the website. If you already have Cricut access, you can pull it from the basic shapes. And I think I linked our shape in the description.
I think anybody can pull that one. It's just a basic one.
Oh yeah, it is. It is. I'm sorry. And so I'm going to go ahead and flip this vertically. Here we go. So that it's sitting right side up. And then we'll resize it here in a minute. I like to design it kind of big. And so what we're going to do before we do anything with the text is get this border. So let me blow this up so you all can see it better. What we want to do is get this border. And so this is something that I've been doing a lot, and it's using an inset. I'm trying to think of what live we just recently did, and I used the inset, but it's a really good way to get the outline of something. So what you do is use the inset. So I'm going to do like a negative 0.5. 0.05, I'm sorry. Negative 0.05. Actually, let's make it a little bit bigger. You can kind of adjust until you get it to the thickness that you want. And I'm going to hit apply. So it's a negative 0.1 inset. So we're going to the left of this midline. We're going to go to the left, and I'm going to actually use sharp corners here because I don't want these corners to be rounded. I want them to be sharp. I'm going to hit apply. Let me change the color of this so you guys can see what's going on. Do you see how that made like a border all the way around it? Now, you can't just be done there because right now it's basically just put this shape in the middle of the other shape. I need to slice this out. And so you can go over here and we can use our combine functions. This would be our exclude. Y'all, I'm trying to get better about using these functions, but I'm so attached to the slice function. I know I'm not the only one. But you're going to hit exclude, and that's just going to put it all as one shape. So we basically just got this border here. Is everybody with me? The tombstone. So Donna said hubby calls it the tombstone. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
It does look like a tombstone. And so now we're just going to need to add in the font of your choice. We are using the Demonstrate font today. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a text box in. Scooch it over here. And I'm going to do the Jarnagans. Now all of the stuff you're seeing today, is actually my sister and her fiance. I told her that I've been using their name for everything because they eloped. They didn't have a wedding, and like, it's my sister, and I wanted to decorate for her wedding, and she literally would not let us. And I was like, I'm living through my crafts. I was like, I said, I'm using your name for everything. Since she wouldn't let us decorate, she eloped, and they like didn't do a party or anything yet. So anyways, I'm living through this for that. So I'm going to change my font. We're just going to go up here to fonts, and you can just type in the name of your font here. Make sure you are on your system fonts, so that way if you've downloaded it, it's in there and you're not like stuck over here in your Cricut fonts looking for your downloaded font. They're going to be under system. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you can see here that they're very spaced out. So they're in the same text box, very spaced out. I want them to be a little bit closer. So what I like to do is go to Advanced and Ungroup to Lines. What this is going to do is separate the lines of text. And so now I can move my "the" closer to Jarnigan's. So they are separate right now, but what you can do to put them back together again is come up here, make sure you have all of your spelling checked and all of that before you do the next step, because we're going to attach it. It's going to make it harder for you all to edit your text. So I'm going to just attach it. You could even unite it or whatever. But I'm going to use attach here, and then I'm just going to tilt it a little bit to the side. Okay, so we're getting there, but it doesn't look exactly the same. So we have one more step that we need to do. And Megan just said, this font reminds me of the trendy neon signs that are everywhere. Yes, me too. And it gives me like a little bit, like a really classy 80s vibe. Does it give you an 80s vibe too?
Starcourt Mall.
Yes. When I did it, I was like, I hope someone recognizes this. You guys are my people. I love it. So what I'm going to do is make sure that my letters are selected, and we're going to add an offset to this. So make sure "the" and Jarnigan's are both selected. We attach them so they're on their own little layer. So when you click them, they should be clicking together at this point. I'm going to select offset, and you can see we've still got that negative inset from before. We need to just erase that out. Let's do like a 0.15. No. Let's do a 0.1 and see. Do we like that? Let's do like a 0.12. Sorry, I'm picky. Okay. I like that. 0.12. I'm going to hit apply. And now what we need to do is select this tombstone or arch, if you will, this layer as well as just the offset layer in our layers panel. So I'm going to go select just the offset layer in my layers panel, and then I'm going to hold the shift key down, and I'm going to select that arch, and we're just going to hit slice. Okay, it looks crazy, but what we're going to do is just delete all of the layers that we do not need. Okay, and there we go. Now, those little pieces right here, like in between all of this, I do not really like those. You can see over here I've deleted them. You can leave them if you want, but Lauren said it looks like a Jarnigan's.
Yeah.
Instead of a Jarnigan's, it does make it look like a D.
Yeah, you have to be very careful with things like that.
Yeah, you really do. And so what I do is just go into my little arch shape. I'll just select it. And since it's set to a basic cut function, I can contour out those little pieces. So we can zoom in here. Where did she go? Let's zoom back out. Here we go. And then you can just select the pieces that you want here, and where they get tiny, you can even use this little panel here on the side. And then I'm just going to hit X, and all those little pieces are gone, okay? And now what I'm gonna do is just click and drag and attach everything. Now, if you guys are like, whoa, you're going too fast, this will be on our channel. So if you wanna go back and make these, don't try to make them along with me. I think sometimes it can be overwhelming to try to make and learn. Just watch what I'm doing, and then if you have to go back and rewatch the replay, it'll be here for you. So I know we're doing a lot, but we're doing 3 crafts today, so I wanna make sure that we get through all of them. So that's pretty much it, you guys. That is everything that I did to get this design. I am going to actually delete our old one. And before we cut, let's measure our koozie. So we'll go overhead. Y'all see that? So let me move my little honey pots over. And I am just going to measure. So this is like 3 3/4. And I'm not going to measure this right here because that's going to go up and under the koozie once the can's in there. So you're just going to measure from here to the top. So 3 3/4 by 4. So let's go back into Design Space, and we're going to make sure that this is smaller than 3 3/4 by 4. I'm just going to go ahead and make the width 3. And then the height is 4. I think it needs to be a little bit smaller, like 2.85. Okay. And so what you can do if you're wanting to make, I don't know, 50 of these, you can duplicate this as many times as you want. And then whenever you go to make it, whenever you go to make it, it's just going to sort them onto the mat. Now you could totally cut this out of 24 inches worth of vinyl if you've got a 12 by 24 inch mat. If you've only got 12 by 12, that's totally okay too. But you're going to be able to cut a bunch of these at one time, which is super, super nice because they're really not that big. But we're only going to be doing the one today, so I'm just going to hide these. But it's really nice because you all are going to have the opportunity to cut a whole bunch at one time. So, but also,
And
if you just, go ahead. Go ahead.
One thing about selling is it's all about things you really make your highest profit on things that you can sell a lot of.
Yes, for sure, and quickly. You know, you want time is money.
Yes.
So before we cut anything, we're cutting this on HTV, so we need to mirror our image because anytime we cut HTV, we are cutting it from the back side. So I'm going to move that back over, select continue, and then we're going to be using the Explore 3 today, and I'm just using a light grip mat. So let's pull this over. We went through that really quickly, you guys. So let me and Lauren know right now if you have any questions. And then if you're watching this later and you still have questions, make sure to leave a comment and we will address any questions you have. You can also always email us at hi@makersgonnalearn. We will answer there as well. The customer service will send us craft questions and we directly respond to those, which is really nice for you guys because we're kind of like right there for you. Did I not bring a burner shaping tool in here? You would think we have 1,000 of those sitting around everywhere.
Do we seriously not have any squeegees or anything?
Oh wait, no. Yes, we do.
Okay.
She was hiding over here in the shadows. I don't know if I trust this map, but you know what? I'm going.
You're just gonna have to trust.
I'm trusting it. Okay, so you can use a standard grip.
Sorry.
Bless you.
I was trying not to make it loud.
It was like a little mouse.
It wanted to be a big sneeze.
That's hilarious.
It hurt a little bit.
It's not good to hold your sneezes in.
No, it's not.
So we're going to browse on materials, and I'm going to cut on everyday iron-on. If you try to search heat transfer vinyl, you're probably not going to find anything. So everyday iron-on is our heat transfer vinyl cut setting. Select done, and we're going to keep it on default pressure. We are using a fine point blade. I'm using a light grip right now, Kimmy, but you can use a standard or light grip. A new light grip is pretty dang sticky, so you can get away with using a light grip. You don't want to use an old one though, just in case. I might be kicking myself for using this light grip mat, but here we go. Here goes nothing.
Here we go. Sue says, I just got to say, I love how the CC interprets the Southern accents.
Oh, do we have the closed captions?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, because they're on my screen.
I cannot imagine what it thinks that we're saying sometimes. I love it. Ginger says, I'm working on some for my daughter's wedding, and I'm screen printing my koozies. Okay, Ginger. Okay. Honestly, if you know how to screen print, do it.
I love to screen print.
Honestly, and it would be so good because you can just kind of like pop those koozies in and screen print the crap out of them. That'd be amazing, actually. Okay, so
Somebody
while that's
asked about how much to sell these for, and I am
Lauren's gonna come through.
I'm gonna comb through. Anyway, go continue.
So I'm gonna let that cut out, and we'll finish this one out before I start our little honey pots. But they're just so cute. Does anyone have any other questions while we're waiting for it to cut?
Most of these are selling, like, select an option. Let's just say they wanted to do 100.
Yeah.
Most of this seller specifically is $151.95 for 100. This seller, I'm just picking random ones. They have a sale going on right now.
Okay.
Theirs is $152.10. So around $150 for 100 is what it's looking like. But you know, you kind of have to base it off of how detailed
I agree with
your
that.
thing is.
Yeah.
Is it one or two sided? Let's see. Now the neoprene foam is standard. Neoprene is an upgrade, and it's $196 for 100.
Holy moly.
If you get the neoprene koozies rather than the foam koozies.
That's a money maker.
Yes.
That's good. Okay. I'm using a pen tool because these letters are so dainty.
Ooh, you know what would be another like really cool one?
What?
Like a little print and cut on the sparklers. This one has a match and a sparkler on it, and it says "Let Love Sparkle."
Yes, for like the send off or whatever.
Yes.
Yes, the send offs are like a huge thing right now. It used to be like birdseed and stuff, but sparklers are the way of the weddings. So I'm just weeding this out very carefully.
Kathy says I have a ton of blank koozies. I just don't know what to put on them as a sample. Just pick. I mean, you could really even like pick anything. You could use your last name. You could use
just for
to
a
make
sample?
a sample.
Yeah.
Or you could even create your design. Let's say in Design Space, and create 2 or 3 different designs in Design Space. Take pictures or take screenshots of those designs, and then take pictures of blank koozies, and then you can use Canva to upload that design onto the picture of the blank koozie.
So you're virtually making a mock-up.
You're making a mock-up. And we teach you how to make mock-ups and how to use mock-ups so that you're not having to create something to take a picture of.
Every single time.
Yeah, when we're teaching you how to do that in DMS.
Yes. And we even have, I don't know why it didn't cut this little tiny area. Sadie did a bunch of like mock-up photos. So like we did a bunch like of blank earrings and blank tumblers. And did we do a koozie, Sadie? I don't think we did a koozie. But you can totally make your own little mock-up photos, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Just get you some good natural sunlight. Put that camera on portrait mode. But DMS is really good for teaching like lots of little tips about stuff like that, you know? There's just a lot of good information. Okay, so I'm just weeding this out. This is a pen tool that I'm using. If you all are not familiar, this is what we use for intricate cuts, and it gets in there so good. It has like a little needle on the tip, and then voila. So it's really good to weed very small stuff. Now I'm gonna put this on the second heat setting and let that get hot. And then let me clear all this stuff out of the way. Okay, we're doing pretty good on time, pretty good. And so here's our original one. There we go. We'll go ahead and get this placed. Okay. And it looks like I did my text a little bit bigger on this one, so we could have made our text like a smidge bigger, but this still looks really cute in my opinion. And y'all, I have koozies from weddings from years ago. Like me and my husband have a drawer at home, and it's full of like wedding koozies.
Yep. They're the only ones I use
Yeah.
a lot of times.
And they're all like, I even love, like we have some that are really funny, and so That's like my favorite one. And so you can put like cutesy stuff on them, and you can even give your customers ideas for things as well. Okay. It does not take a whole lot of heat, but be very careful when you're removing it, making sure that you're not pulling it too quickly, because if something did not get ironed down, it's going to pull up and stretch your vinyl, and we do not want that to happen. Okay, there she is. How cute. So quick and fast. Y'all, that took me like 3 seconds to iron that on.
I know.
Literally. So there's your first one and done, easy peasy. If you're confused about the design portion of it, just go back and watch it section by section and pause in between each little instruction. There is a lot. I'm sorry we had to kind of zoom through it. I just want to make sure y'all get all the information, you know?
Zoom, zoom.
Zoom, zoom. Okay, now let's go to our little honey pots. So here's our file. Maybe. Here we go. Customize. Okay. Sorry, I'm not tired. I'm just yawning. So I've already got a few here. Now we're going to be using the font Duplicity for our script and the font JoJo for our other font. And so what I'm going to do now is go ahead and make sure I've got these fonts, which I'm 90% sure I do. And I'm going to go ahead and just type out everything that I want on my label. And so I'm going to go ahead and change my fonts to JoJo. Now this font right here is a beautiful font. It's really good for printing, not so good for cutting unless you are making something really, really big.
Yes.
So it needs, like, I would not cut this font if I were doing those koozies.
No.
No. It would be like way stressful.
No, ma'am.
But we're just doing a print and cut here. So the printer can print and it's going to be totally fine. I would not try to cut something like this. Y'all be stressing out. I'm going to keep this big until we get everything situated. And then let's go ahead and add in our honey. And this is going to be in the Duplicity font. And feel free to use whatever fonts that you guys prefer. I'm going to make this really big.
This is another one, the Duplicity. Is that because
Yeah.
the edges? If I'm not mistaken, the Duplicity font has like rougher edges, right?
Yes.
This is another one that is kind of more of a handwritten font that is great for printing, not so great for cutting.
I agree with that. And you get this rough edge. This is what Lauren's talking about on the Y and the H. Like you can see, it will cut if it's really large. It'll cut if it's small, but it's not going to be pretty and it's not going to be precise. And so that's why we try to use fonts like this for lots of our print and cut projects, because they're such good fonts, but they're like not conducive for cutting all the time. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this Found My and use it for underneath. So you can put whatever you want. I did Jared and Hannah's wedding day. And I'm using a plus sign. That's kind of on trend right now rather than an and sign. I know that sounds weird, but that's just what it is. And so we'll shrink this down. And then I'm going to duplicate it again. And we're going to add wedding day. Whoop. Okay, I'm going to select all of it, and then I'm going to go align, center horizontally. Now, you can obviously see it's like coming into the Y, so I'm going to actually just, instead of moving Jared and Hannah's wedding day, I'm just going to make my honey a little bit bigger. I may need to shrink that just a hair. And then let's line it all back up again and see what it looks like. So just make adjustments as needed. Okay, cute, right? Okay, so, and someone asked me this, I think on our TikTok or something, or maybe Sadie pointed it out to me. She was like, did you know it was cut off? So I kind of like the look of having the honey like going off of the edges of the label. That is a personal preference. If you want to do that, you totally can. But just for today's sake, I'm just going to show you all how to put it on the label. Like, it doesn't make that much of a difference, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't make that much of a difference. I just kind of like it personally. So once you get everything exactly how you want it, I'm going to change all this to black. Make sure if you're wanting to use black and you're designing in Design Space that you change it to black. It will be that dark charcoal gray if you do not.
Yes.
And you can tell when you print it. Also,
you sure can, because it's happened to me multiple times. And I'm like, why did I not go back and change it?
I know. I get so mad at myself when I do that. You can, I mean, and y'all feel free to like adjust it to the colors of the wedding. Like, I feel like a really light beige would be pretty and subtle. But I really like the contrast of the black and the gold. It just looks really nice.
Yes.
And so I'm just going to keep it as it is. And so now what we need to do is make a label the size that's going to fit our honey jar. So let's go overhead and measure our little honey jar, honey pot. And you can see this has like a bunch of flat edges. I want this to be a little bit longer than these front 3 edges. So you can see it kind of goes over the edge a little bit. So we're going to make it, let's start it there. Let's make it 3.5 long by an inch. So 3.5 by 1. So back in Design Space, I'm just going to pull in a rectangle and I'm going to make this 3.5 by 1. So unlock your shape. The width will be 3.5. The height will be 1. Just like that. And you can see this is way too big, which is fine. I'm going to change our label color to white. And then I'm going to go ahead and attach all of this together just so it's not moving around when I'm trying to adjust the size of it. And we are going to shrink it down so that it fits onto our label. I'm going to zoom in for you guys. Okie dokie. And then we're just going to shrink it down. Okay. And you know what? Now I'm remembering why I wanted my honey to be so big. Because when you shrink it down like that, it's like you're not even using the entire label. Which
Right.
we can change the size of the label, like the width of it. We don't have to make it this wide, if that makes sense.
Right.
So we could make it a little bit shorter. So just kind of play around with the sizing. You don't want to adjust the height, but you can definitely adjust that width. So now that we're fitting everything in here, I'm just going to make this a little bit less. Let's try 3 inches. Oh, I hit 2. I'm sorry. Let's do 3. Do we want to do 2? That's cute. That's cuter, I think.
There you
Do
go.
3.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we're just going to align everything in the center. And I'm still going to move it over a little bit because I like how it looks better there. Okay, do we love it?
Love it.
Okay, so the next thing you're going to want to do, because we can't just stop here, we need to make sure that it's not going to cut our letters out. And so what you're going to want to do is make sure that your words and your label are flattened together. So you couldn't just flatten your words and then flatten your square alone. You're going to have to select both the letters as well as the square. And you can see that they're both selected here in the layers panel. And you want to flatten it all together. This is going to allow Cricut to know that you just need to cut around that square. And then all you need to do is duplicate like 100 times. Or as many times as you need, as many honey pots. I'm going to do a bunch and we can actually print and then cut these in real time. Let's do 6. And then I'm just going to hide the ones that we do not want to use. Okay. And the next thing we're going to do is make it. Okay. And then we're using an inkjet printer for this today. I'm going to go slide that paper in there.
Do you want me to get it, or do you want to get it?
I can just pop it in there really fast.
Okay, now would be a good time if anybody has any questions to drop them now. Lindsay said, I know this is an off-topic question, but where can I find the boot camp replay? I finally got all of my supplies and ready to craft the amazing projects. You can find them behind the membership in the classes.
Patty said you didn't save it. I know, Patty. I'm just living my life on the edge. That's just the way it goes. Okay, I'm going to change this to 8.5 by 11. We are using the Zakoto. Why is it? Okay, I was like, what's going on? We're using the Zakoto vinyl matte paper today. So this is a water-resistant sticker paper. It's like a printable sticker vinyl. I love how this matte looks on almost all stickers, but especially like for wedding stuff, it looks so rich and like classy. And so that's what paper we're going to be using today. I have all of my labels ready to go in the print and then cut area. Now, obviously, we're not using any of this down here. So if you don't want to waste paper and you're making a bunch, you're going to want to duplicate this so that it fills up your entire sheet of print and then cut paper. Okay. And we don't need to mirror it. We're just going to keep it how it is. And then you can go ahead and select continue. I'm going to send it to my printer. And if you guys have been here for any amount of time, you know that we like to print using the system dialog. Let me go ahead and select the printer that I'm going to be using, which is the Canon 9500. I'm going to turn my bleed off. We do not need a bleed for any reason today. And I'm going to use the system dialog and then hit print. Now, if you're using a Windows, it'll pop up the dialog box right here in the front. If you're using a Mac, sometimes it pops up behind design space. So slide your design space down and you can see your dialog box right here. So make sure that your printer is selected. Make sure your paper size is correct. We're using 8.5 by 11. I'm going to feed this from the rear tray. And I'm going to select best. I just kept media type on auto select for this one. And then always use best quality when printing. And then we're going to go ahead and print that. And Lauren is going to bring it in here to me. And then for our base material, I'm going to be using sticker paper cut settings. So you can type in sticker. And we are doing printable sticker paper in whites. Hit done. And then we're just using a fine point blade, and I'm going to use a light grip mat for this. And then that should be it. Does anyone have questions about anything so far? Is there a difference between, thank you. Is there a difference between duplicate and project copies in the Make a Screen? No, not really. I tend to gravitate towards the duplicate in Design Space. Mainly because I learned how to do that before I learned how to do the project copies.
I think it's a personal preference because I lean toward project copies.
Yes.
That way I only have to, I mean, it's literally just personal preference. Because project duplicate will duplicate it all on your canvas and that many will stay on your canvas versus project copies, you'll still only have one on your canvas and maybe 10 or 20 when you print.
Yeah. So totally up to you, but there's not really a difference. I'm sure there's some instances where it would matter, but it really doesn't.
Yep.
Okay, so I've just attached this on here. Let me burnish it down really good. And y'all, I really like to use a brayer when I am doing labels and things like that because I don't want to like scratch over my ink, if that makes sense. But a brayer would be better than a burnishing tool. That's just what I like. Okay. Let's go ahead and send this in. Okay. So cute. And then I can show you guys while that's cutting. I can just show you how to assemble these little guys. Let me move all this stuff. So it comes with string. Y'all, it comes with all this, which is just like so cute. So you're just going to want to cut enough to do a little bow.
Mm-hmm. And as far as how much these cost, I will give you a couple, how much these are, but it's really going to come down to how much you spent on your supplies, like the little honey pots. Mm-hmm. And if you, let's say you use local honey, how much does it cost you to get the local honey or wherever, you know what I mean?
Right.
But as an option, quantity and honey jar option. This is if you do the labels and the dipper. Oh, there's like, you can get everything. Some people are selling, ooh, this is great. Some people are selling them just the labels by themselves, and then I guess they send them to, or maybe they're just on the pots. The labels plus the dippers, labels plus the dippers plus the ribbon, and a lot of different options. So
That's
this person,
great. That's a great idea.
yes, this person is doing just the labels, $48.14 for 12. The labels and the
What?
dippers.
Dang.
For 12, the labels and the dippers, $53.86. Labels, dippers, and ribbon is $62.32. So
I mean, there you go. Honestly, y'all, if you design these, you could sell them as a digital file.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do anything. You list it as a digital file and they download it, they print it, and then they put them on their jars.
Yeah.
Like, y'all, it took me like 5 minutes to make this, and like you could be selling so many.
Let's see if we've got some other ones.
I'm gonna clean my jar before I go to apply these. And if you all are making these for anybody, I would suggest like wearing gloves and like if you're gonna fill them with honey, like make sure you're being super sanitary. Okay, I'm just gonna wipe that off. Make sure it's super dry. And then you can see here all of our little labels cut out. See, you can see that they cut out individually, and then you can just take one off. And then we're going to apply it. Just like so. Y'all, this is just so cute. I can't stand it. It's so cute. Okay, there you go. Looky.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear Lauren now? Oh no. Lauren's
It's
been
not
shunned.
batteries.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. If you have anything to say, I'll come over and hang out with you. Lauren's mic's out, so if you guys have questions, I'll try to answer. But so anyways, you can see how easy it was for us to make those. Even designing them did not take very long at all. And so that's it. Does anybody have questions about our little honey pots? I feel like so easy. You can get a little assembly line going. You can have somebody tying on bows, get somebody putting on labels, have your labels ready to go, already printed, and you are good to go. I love it. Okay, now to our last and final one. This is my favorite one. This is the little print and cut mints. You are going to need a scoring stylus or a scoring wheel to do these, but you can do it with the Explore or the Maker series. But like y'all, I can't. These are so freaking cute, and they're so easy. And so you're just going to need some mints. I've got this craft board. It's not craft board. It's just a like craft paper cardstock. And then I have an ATG gun. And so basically all that we're going to be doing is, all that I did was measure the width of our little mints, and then I added a little bit of height to them. So let's just measure them right now. Before we go into design space, let's make sure we've got the right measurements. So these mints are they're about 1 inch wide, but you can see here, I want them to come out a little bit wider than the mint. I don't want the plastic from the mint to be sticking out. So let's make them like 1 inch and, well, these I made 1.5 inches. So we'll make it 1.5 inches wide. And then I ended up doing these 1.5 inches tall, but they're folded in half. So they're gonna need to be 3 inches tall by 1.5 inches wide. So let's go into design space. And I'm going to go to my stuff because I have these in here. Maybe. Is your mic still broken?
Yep.
Oh no. I don't know where these, oh, they would be in my projects. Where are you? Here they are, meant to be. Okay, customize. And replace. Okay, so you can see here, this is kind of what we end up with. I'm going to change my canvas background so you all can see what the heck is going on here. Okay, so you can see I've got all these little individual little tags, but we're just going to design one at a time and then we can duplicate it. So I'm going to start by using a basic square and I'm going to unlock it, and our measurements were 1.5 by 3. Okay, and then if you wanted to, you could change this to the craft board color, like that light brown, just like that. Let's zoom in.
Can you by chance hear me now?
Can y'all hear Lauren? Oh no. Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
Well, we did have someone ask about uploading their own designs. If you would like to address that
Uploading them to where?
into Cricut. Yes, you can.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can upload your own designs for sure. Where are you uploading them from? Like you did them in like Illustrator or something? Yeah, you can totally do that. So for the mints, the fonts we use are Omni and Conclusion. But like if you were doing the honey pots and you wanted to use JoJo and Duplicity, just carry over those same fonts into whatever you're making if you're doing it like for your daughter's wedding or something like that. But for this project, we're going to be using Omni, and that is going to be for our straight script. I say straight, but it's like serif. I get serif and sans serif mixed backwards, but I think it's serif. Don't come for me on that. Okay, and then let's see, Omni. Yes, this is another font that you're not going to want to cut, but it's perfect for printing, perfect. And so you can adjust it manually. You can just come up here and adjust it. We're going to shrink it down so that it fits. And I'm just going to put their name, and then I'm going to add the wedding date. A lot of people use periods instead of dashes right now too. That's like a thing. And then I'm going to select everything and make sure it's all aligned. I'm going to center this horizontally. Now, remember, change this to black if you're wanting it to print in black. Otherwise, it's going to be that light gray. And it looks subtle here, but when you print it, you're going to be like, why does it look like that? It's because it's charcoal and not black. It just looks off. And then we're going to use the font Conclusion for the mint to be. Holy moly, that's gigantic, sorry. Let's shrink it down a little bit. There we go. And I'll change it up here to Duplicity. Oh, I keep wanting to call it Duplicity. It's Conclusion. Okay. Oh, that's not right. What am I thinking? Well, let's use another font then. I thought it was Duplicity. Gypsy is very close. It's like a similar vibe. We'll use Gypsy for this. Oh, that's right. I don't know what I've done. I must have been not paying attention, written down the wrong font. So we're going to be using Gypsy, and we're going to type out mint to be. Okay. And you can see with this font, it kind of overlaps when you go to the next line. And so I'm going to use this advanced feature right here where you can ungroup to lines like we did earlier. And you can kind of move this around so that it's not so like up in the mint business. I'm going to select both of them and kind of adjust them down. And then we can add in some hearts. So I'm just going to go to my uploads. We have, I have linked the heart file for you all below. So you can just grab whatever heart that you want. I'm going to add these to canvas. Hit view. And obviously we don't need all of these, so I'm just going to ungroup it. And we're going to change one of these to black and just shrink it down. I'm going to flip it the other direction too. Okay. So we got a little cute heart going. And then I'm going to change my mint to be to black because I can tell that it is not still. Okay. So that's pretty much like the text design. Now we do need to add in the score area next. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and attach all of this together. Okay. Oh, I did not mean to say that. What I'm going to do here is click and drag, and I'm going to flatten all of that together. Okay. So now that we've flattened it, it's only going to cut that square. It's not going to cut the words. It'll only cut the square around it. Next, we need to go to our shapes, and we're going to add a line in here. And so our square is 1.5 inches wide. So our line, our score line, needs to be 1.5 inches wide as well. So I'm going to change that to 1.5, and we're just going to rotate it 90 degrees. Okay. And make sure that this operation says score when you have your line selected, otherwise it may cut. So we do not want that. And then the next thing you're going to want to do is make sure that that line is in the very middle of your entire design. So I'm going to select the line as well as the square. We're going to go to a line and then hit center. Okay, and so you may run into, oh my gosh, my text is way too big. It's like coming over my score line. We want to make sure that your text is not going over your score line. So if you happen to do that, you can always unflatten your image and then adjust your text until it is the appropriate size. Does that make sense to everybody? So I'm going to go back and reflatten this, and it hid my score line, so it's just behind it. I'm going to send everything to the back, and then we're going to attach all of that together. So we're going to attach our score line and our square together. Otherwise, the score line doesn't really know where to go. It needs like an assignment. And so I can delete anything I don't need. Okay. I'm just going to delete these out. We don't need them. Okay. And so what Lauren was saying earlier is we can duplicate these once we get to the make it screen. So when I go to make it, I can, if I need, I don't know, how many do we need? 10? I can hit 10 and hit apply, and look, there's 10 right there. So you can duplicate it on the canvas, or you can do it over here. Either way, it's going to give you the same result. And then we're going to be doing it on 8.5 by 11. Oh, yes? What?
You're printing this on craft paper already.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that. Okay. So Lauren made a really good point. I'm printing this on craft paper already. And so what do you guys think is going to happen if I print this right now? It's going to print brown squares.
On your craft brown paper.
Yes, and we do not want that. And so I need to change it to white, because if you change it to white, it does not print white. It'll print clear. Yeah, it's clear. It's like invisible. And so it doesn't print anything. And so I need to make sure to change my square to white rather than brown. And I meant to do it earlier. I just wanted you all to kind of have like a good look at what we were doing. So I'm just going to have to detach this, okay, and then unflatten. That way I can just have my square again. So let's just select the square in the layers panel and then change it to white. I'm so glad you said something. Oh my gosh. I would have been like, dang it, I knew, I would have known, or I would have printed.
The only reason I thought about it is because I put the craft paper
In the
printer
thing.
for you.
Now, if you were printing on white and you wanted them to be brown, you would keep it brown. So make sure after you change the color, you go back and you flatten your text with your square. Make sure you flatten everything together. Okay, remember, send this back to the back. And then we're going to attach our line with our print the cut image. Okay, voila. Let's go back and make it. And so we're going to do 10 just for fun. Well, that's a lot. Let's just do 6. Okay, I'm going to hit apply. Okay, make sure you change your material size. We're doing it on 8.5 by 11 sheet of that craft paper. And then select continue. And we're going to do the same thing. So send to printer. Turn off the bleed. We do not need it on the bleed. Make sure your correct printer is selected. And we're going to print from the system dialog box. I use this all the time. It's the best way to get the best print. Select print. And then my dialog box pops up behind design space. I'm going to print from the rear tray because we are using a thicker cardstock. And then we'll select best and print it there. Okay, is everybody with me? Okay, lots of people are learning new things about unflattening, and yes, that's awesome. Yes, Tina, you're going to have to go back and watch the replay because there's lots of good little tidbits in here. So I'm going to cut this on the medium cardstock cut setting. Lauren is about to bring it to me now. But while it's printing, you can go ahead and load your scoring stylus in clamp A. And so if we go to the Cricut camera, I already had it loaded, but if you didn't already, you're just gonna pop that in there, okay? And then make sure it's closed and just give it a gentle tug to make sure it's not gonna pop out. And then I've just got my fine point blade ready to go. Hi, Crystal, welcome to the live. This is just regular brown craft cardstock. So this is not sticker. Beautiful. Okay, let's go overhead so you all can see what this looks like, okay? So it looks like what in the world's happening because we don't have any cuts, there's no score lines, there's nothing. And so what we're gonna need to do is let the Cricut do all of the hard work for us. And so I am going to line this up on the top left corner. Okay. And just burnish it down really good. I love using this craft paper. I just feel like it's so cute. Okay. And then we're gonna put it into our Cricut. Make sure you've got your blade as well as your stylus ready to go. You can also use a scoring wheel for this if you have adaptive tools, if you're using a maker, but we're using an Explore series. And honestly, I like the stylus because you can do scoring and cutting at the same time. If you're using adaptive tools, you've got to switch out the blades and it's like a whole thing. And so this kind of avoids that for us.
And honestly, I can't talk.
Here.
No, I mean, you don't have to do all that.
I've got to wait anyways.
Oh, I was just gonna say, honestly, for this project, it makes more sense because the only thing that the scoring wheel is good for if you're doing like really detailed 3D paper projects because it gets a really good score on it.
Yes, I agree with that.
So, I mean, you know, the scoring stylus, in my opinion, is the way to go.
Yeah, we almost always grab for the stylus over the wheel.
Yeah.
Even on our makers. That's just what we do. Okay, I'm gonna babysit it because y'all know I have trust issues. Okay, and so right now it's just going through and adding those little score lines and then it'll go back and it'll cut everything. So does anybody have any questions? We have busted through 3 crafts in like a little over an hour. Actually, I'm actually impressed that we have made it this far and it's only 2:34.
I know.
I feel like I've been like blah, 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 blah. Tina, I hope I didn't say sticker cardstock. But so what's going to happen is all of these are going to cut out, and we're not using sticker cardstock. We're just using regular. This is just it's a craft paper cardstock. And then what we'll do is pull these off. Oh, that cuts so crispy. And I'm just going to peel them off of the mat. Okay. And then, so all you're going to need to do is fold them on that score line, just like so. Okay. And you can just, like I was saying earlier, get yourself a little assembly line going. This is how you get a whole bunch done really quick. You got to get in a good rhythm. And then what you're going to do is take your little minties, okay, and have them ready. I'm just going to put ATG, 1 strip on both sides of these. This is just a double-sided adhesive, so you can get any double-sided adhesive tape for this, and all you're going to do is sandwich it just like this. And look, that's it.
You done it all fancy with the ATG. I probably would have just got a staple gun.
You could. I mean, listen, use what you have. I just look, the ATG just looks so clean, I guess, because yeah, like you wouldn't see it. Also, I want to show you guys what I just did that I don't want you to do. I put that back seam on the candy wrapper to the front, and I feel like it looks better if you do it without that seam showing. No one's really going to care. It's just a breath mint, but just so you're aware of the details. And so, yeah. Devil's in the details. That's right. And so how easy is that, y'all? I love it.
I mean, those are so quick.
Like, we already got a little pile going here. And that's it. Any questions? Anybody? I love these. These mints are my favorite. I wish I did these at my wedding because they're so easy. I'm trying to think. We did.
Deborah asked a question about the square shape, but they're on, and I thought I answered it in the comments, The only reason she asked why you did the square shape first in the mints and second in the last part in the honey pot, it's really just how our brains work. You can do it either way.
Oh yeah.
You don't have to start out with the square. It's just
That's how I
your
design.
brain works.
Yeah, yeah.
If you want to start out with the square, you could have started out with the square with the honey pot,
Right.
or you could have not. It's just a how your brain works.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Cheryl, that's a Stanley Cup. We've all got, Tanner's gotten all of us Stanley Cups, Tanner and Courtney. So we've all got them.
These are so cute.
Aren't they?
I know.
I'm obsessed. Let us know in the comments which one is your favorite.
I love the little bee detail with this one.
I know. And it comes with them.
I know.
Like when you order the pots that I linked, it comes with the little bee. And it was like a pleasant surprise. I didn't realize it came with it. And then when we got them, I was like, that's so cute.
So you could really even, if you were selling the honey pots, you could sell them without this and actually add this because it does take time to tie these on.
And like an add-on.
Add these as an add-on that they can purchase.
Like a little
Extra.
upsell, you know?
Yeah.
Because like I would want the full package. If I was a consumer, I'll be like, I don't want just a naked honey pot. Like I want the little bee charm
Yeah.
and like the little thingy. I want all of it, you know? So
Somebody asked how to come up with a picture. I would literally take a close-up picture of each of these if I were doing a listing on Etsy or wherever you're selling them.
yeah, do a close-up picture. You could even take a photo of a bunch of them in like a little bowl so
Yeah.
they could see how they're going to be displayed. Things like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Everybody's loving these.
Oh my gosh.
Drop us your favorite. Drop a comment and tell us which one is your favorite. We've already had a couple that have said, I see the mints are their favorite, honey pots.
I love the thought, Deb, of selling a digital file of the label. Like, especially for the honey pots. These, I feel like you've got to kind of know how to assemble them, but you could totally add instructions on how for people to assemble these if they purchase a digital file.
Or really and truly, if you designed, printed, and scored these and instructions on how they can add them to their own mints,
Right.
that's one
Yeah.
less thing you have to do, but you're still making these and can probably easily ship them in a small envelope.
A bunch at a time, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, oh my gosh, getting lots of things. I think the mints and the honey pot are the top twos for sure. But, you know, there's lots of options for these, and they can fit many different themes, which I really like. So, lots of good, fun creativity stuff going on there. So, yay. Okay. Well, so we're kind of at the end of the live. If you all were not here in the beginning, Tanner is doing a free webinar that's going to teach you all how to sell your crafts. And so that's what we've been talking about all day, kind of like the markup on these wedding items, because wedding items sell like hotcakes. Like people just fork out their money for weddings. And so in that webinar, he's going to go over, you know, things to kind of encourage you all to start selling your crafts, which is what we're about here. We want to inspire you guys. So love it.
We got the honey pots from
Amazon. Yes, and everything should be linked below in the description. You guys should be able to click all the links. I think I linked everything. So,
and as far as pricing the digital file, digital files are a little like, it's one of those things like you create it once. Really, you could make it a custom digital file and charge a little bit more than just a standard digital file. So they would, if that was the case, you would list it as a custom digital file on Etsy. They would send you a message through Etsy or put in their description what they want on it. Then you would go customize it for them with the names and the date and send it to them. And I'd say I know that those custom digital files go, what, $6, $6?
Yeah. So the cost is lower. Like you're just going to you're going to want to sell more, but you're doing a lot less work.
So much less work.
Yeah.
No shipping at all. If you already have the file created, you're literally going to go in there, change 2 things, and send it to them, and send them instructional on how to print.
Right.
And that is a really good way to create semi-passive income.
Oh, for sure. Digital
It's
files
not
are
a
great for that.
lot per digital file, but if you do create digital files, it's something that they can keep like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I know
love
about that. Also, I just put this honey in here myself, you guys. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a wedding, you know. Everybody's helping. You don't have to buy it from like a fancy supplier. Like, just go get you some honey at the Sam's Club and get you some gloves and put you some gloves on and wash your hands and make sure your pots are clean.
Yeah.
And that's it. You can boil these little pots before you put the honey in them if you really want it to be super clean.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we will be back. We won't be back.
You know what I would probably do if I were making these?
What?
I would probably sell them without the honey in them and let them put their own honey in it.
Yes, I agree with that. I would not sell. Yes, okay.
Because
so now I see where you guys are coming from.
If it's not food grade and it's not sealed, then there's an issue when it comes to shipping.
Yes.
So I would sell these honey pots just pre-done, and like this is tied, the label's on there, they put their own honey in it.
Yes, that's a great point. And you're the crafter. You're not like a beekeeper. You know, like you're not a food seller. So you're selling the thing, like the device that's gonna carry the honey.
Yeah.
They can worry about putting the honey in it. I don't think that that's too much to ask for.
And honestly, that might be something that would drive sales to your website, because it wouldn't be as expensive. So it's probably not going to be $60-something for 12 of them, but you're also not having to worry about putting the honey and everything in them.
Right. So, and these pots actually come in like their own little box. So if you save those boxes, you could ship them in the box that they came in.
Yep.
So, I mean, they're small, but I didn't order a huge, I think I ordered like 12, but I think if you ordered more, just save the boxes they come in and then use those to ship out. That way you're not having to purchase new packaging and all that.
Oh, save all your boxes if you're selling your crafts.
Yes.
Every box
Every
get,
Amazon package.
save that box. Yes.
The next member only live is, what month is it? April? Oh, next week?
Is it the second Thursday?
Third Thursday.
Third Thursday.
I want to say it's next week. Next Thursday.
It is.
We're doing, if you're a member, we are doing no sublimation printer needed, like infusible ink sheets. We're going to be painting and inking.
Infusible ink.
Yes, it's very cool. I wish I brought it in here. It's a very fun little project.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's what we're doing.
The mints with the craft paper, I think we said that they were selling 100 of them for like $55 around about.
It was about 50, yeah.
So about 50 cents a piece.
Not too shabby.
I think you fit 6. You could have fit. How much do you think you could have fit on that one sheet of paper?
Like
you did 6.
15.
So you think you could have done
like 12?
12.
Yeah.
On one sheet of paper. So if you did that, 8. So 8 to 10 sheets of paper for 100 and a bag of mints.
Like nothing.
The markup, like it sounds, 50 cents a mint doesn't sound a lot, but y'all, the markup
it's like
on that
$4 for a bag of mints tops.
Yeah.
You know, you're not gonna be
$4 or $5, $10 max for the paper, max.
Yeah.
If that.
So get in with all the wedding venues and start
Yep.
selling those crafts, people.
That's right.
All righty. Well, I guess we'll see you. If you're a member, we'll see you next Thursday for sure. We're not 100% on next Wednesday's live stream, like what it's going to be yet, but someone will be live.
Yes, we will be here and we will be live.
So we will see you guys in the next one.
Sounds good.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.